Hello and welcome. Millions of Social Security checks are about to go out this January, and I know you're probably wondering, when is my check coming? How much am I getting? And what about this 2026 increase everyone's been talking about? Well, I've got all the answers you need today. We're going to cover the exact payment dates for January, the maximum benefit amounts, which can go as high as $5,250, and most importantly, the 2026 Social Security increases that are kicking in right now on this month's checks. My name is Frank, and I've been helping people understand their Social Security benefits for years. If you're new here, welcome to Retirees Info. Do me a quick favor and drop your city and state in the comments so I know where you're watching from. And if you've been here before, welcome back. I'm really glad you're here. Now, before we dive in, I want to tell you something personal. A few years back, my mom was living on Social Security and every single dollar mattered. We'd sit at her kitchen table with bills spread everywhere, trying to figure out if she could afford both her medication and groceries that month. So when I talk about these benefits, this isn't just information to me, it's personal. And I know it's personal to you too. Let's start with the big numbers because I know some of you want to know what's the absolute maximum someone can get. If you waited until age 70 to retire and you paid the maximum into Social Security your entire career, you can receive up to $5,251 per month. That's the highest possible benefit, and it went up from last year. Now, if you're at full retirement age this year, which is 67 for anyone born in 1960 or later, and you paid the maximum in, your check is $4,152 per month. And if you retired early at age 62 and paid the maximum into the system, your monthly benefit is $2,269, almost $3,000. But here's the reality. Most people aren't getting those maximum amounts. The average Social Security check for all retired people is $1,176 per month. That's an increase of $56 from last year, thanks to the 2.5% cost of living adjustment. Some of you are making more than that average and some are making less, and I'm going to talk about why that is and what you can do about it. Now, let's get to what you really came here for. When is your January check coming? Okay, so Social Security and SSDI payments are paid based on your birthday. Here's how it works. If your birthday falls between the 1st and the 10th of any month, you get your benefits on the second Wednesday. That means your January check is coming this week on January 14th. And this is the first check with your 2026 increase included. If your birthday is between the 11th and the 20th, you get paid on the third Wednesday of the month. That's January 21st for you. And if your birthday falls between the 21st and the 31st, your check arrives on the fourth Wednesday, January 28th. Now, there are some exceptions. If you fall into one of these four categories, you got paid on a different date. 1, if you live outside the United States. 2, if you receive both Social Security and SSI. 3, if your state pays for your Medicare premiums. Or 4, if you filed for Social Security before May 1997. If any of those apply to you, your payment came on Friday, January 3rd, RD. But wait, actually, because January 3rd fell on a weekend, you should have gotten your check on Friday, January 2nd, because Social Security doesn't pay benefits on weekends. SSI recipients, you're a little different. You normally get paid on the 1st of the month, but since January 1st was New Year's Day, you should have received your check on Wednesday, December 31st Street. And here's something important to plan for. You're going to get another check on Friday, January 31st, because February 1st falls on a weekend. So you'll get 2 checks close together, but then you won't see another payment in February. Make sure you budget accordingly because that's going to be a longer gap. Now, if you didn't receive your Social Security check, here's what you need to do. Don't panic, but don't wait either. Call Social Security and make an appointment. Here's something a lot of people don't know. You may be in an overpayment situation. Social Security can take a chunk of your check or take a percentage depending on what benefits you're getting if you owe them money because of an overpayment issue. This happens more often than you'd think, and it can catch people completely off guard. So if your check seems smaller than expected or didn't show up at all, reach out to Social Security immediately and get it sorted out. Let's talk about who's actually receiving these benefits because it's more people than you might realize. We're talking about retired workers, people who worked their whole lives, paid into the system, and are now trying to enjoy retirement on a fixed income. We're talking about people with disabilities who can't work anymore and are relying on SSDI to survive. Veterans who are depending on Social Security along with their VA benefits to make ends meet. Widows and widowers who lost their spouse and are now living on survivor benefits. And children, yes, children who receive benefits because a parent died or became disabled. If you're a mom who took time off to raise your kids and never built up big work credits, if you're a dad who got injured and can't provide like you used to, if you're a grandparent helping raise grandkids on a fixed income, this is for you. Over 67 million Americans receive Social Security benefits every single month. You are not alone. I want to share some real stories with you from seniors who filled out our survey about how they're living in retirement. These are heartbreaking, but they're important, and I want you to hear them. Here's one. I would ask Congress if they could live on $200 a month and pay a mortgage, electric, water, and gas bill, not to mention the necessities needed to survive. Toilet paper, cleaning products, food, lawn upkeep, house upkeep, car insurance, house insurance, property taxes, garbage pickup. This is my daunting task every single month. Unbelievable. Here's another. You people in Congress have been extremely self-centered because you have plenty to live on, and you don't seem to give a damn about us poor folks who are in this situation through no fault of ours. You can't even begin to imagine what many of us go through and how we cannot afford to even pay our rent or buy groceries or live at a comfortable temperature due to high electric bills. And this one really got to me. I worked 50 plus years and now live in poverty with $996 monthly. I am 76 with health problems, live alone, and cannot work. One more. I make $1,000 per month. I pay $655 for rent. I have electric, gas, water, cell phone, car insurance, life insurance. I also have to eat every month. Unfortunately, I have to rob Peter to pay Paul every single month. Sometimes I have to cancel a doctor's appointment because I don't have money to pay the co-a. It's extremely hard to live with not enough money to live on. These stories are exactly why I do what I do. And if you want your voice heard too, there's a link in the description to fill out the survey. It only takes a few minutes, and I'm going to compile all of these responses and release them to news organizations so your stories get told, because I don't think Congress understands what you're really going through. So let's talk about what this 2.5% cost of living adjustment actually means for you. For the average retiree getting around $1,220 per month last year, you're now getting about $1,976. That's an increase of $56 per month, or about $670 over the course of the year. Now, I know what you're thinking. Minus $56 doesn't go very far when rent is up, groceries are up, utilities are up, and everything else is more expensive. You're absolutely right. This increase is smaller than last year's 3.2%, 2% adjustment, and way smaller than the 8.7% we saw in 2023 when inflation was out of control. But here's the thing, it's something that $56 could cover your phone bill. It could be part of a prescription. It could go into an emergency fund. The key is to give that money a job so it doesn't just disappear. Here's one more thing you need to know, and this is important if you're planning to retire soon. The full retirement age for Social Security is now 67 for anybody born in 1960 or later. It used to be 62, then it went to 65, then 67, and there's talk about pushing it to 70. A lot of seniors are frustrated by this, and rightfully so. As one person put it in our survey, I don't believe it's fair to keep raising the retirement age. People want to retire. They want to live before they get too old to live. You're making it so people never retire. They die before they retire. I hear that frustration, and I think a lot of you feel the same way. So here's what you need to do right now, today, after watching this video. First, mark your payment date on your calendar. Go back to those dates I mentioned, January 14th, 21st, or 28th, depending on your birthday, and know when to expect your money. Second, if you haven't already, set up a My Social Security account online at ssa.gov. You can check your benefit amount, see your payment history, and download your 1099 form for taxes. It takes 10 minutes and will save you so much hassle down the road. Third, make a plan for that extra $56. Don't let it just disappear into your checking account. Decide right now, is that your emergency fund? Is that covering a bill? Is that going towards something specific? Give it a purpose. And fourth, please please check what other benefits you might qualify for. SNAP, energy assistance, property tax relief, medication assistance, free phone service through Lifeline. There are so many programs out there that work alongside your Social Security check. A lot of people don't apply because they assume they won't qualify, but you might be surprised. Real quick, because I know some of you are wondering, President Trump did an interview with the New York Times recently about those $2,000 tariff stimulus checks he's been talking about. His latest update, he said Americans can expect to see those funds towards the end of the year, meaning the end of 2026. He also said he won't need congressional approval for the checks, which would be fueled by tariff revenue. Now, I know this is frustrating because the timeline keeps changing. First, it was supposed to be by the end of December 2025, then mid-2026, and now the end of 2026. Some people are wondering if this is being timed for the congressional elections. The White House hasn't offered specific guidelines on who will qualify, just that it's aimed at low and middle-income Americans. And according to budget experts, a new round of stimulus checks would cost about $600 billion. The U.S. only collected $195 billion in tariff revenue last year, so it's unclear where the rest would come from. I'm going to keep watching this for you and bring you updates as I get them. But for now, don't count on that money. Plan your budget based on what you know is coming. Your Social Security check. Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Social Security checks don't go as far as they used to. Rent is expensive, food is expensive, health care is expensive, and a 2.5% increase doesn't fix everything. But you worked for these benefits. You earned them. And there are people in your corner, including me, who want to help you make the most of what you have. If this video helped you, please hit that like button and subscribe. I post videos every single week about Social Security, Medicare, benefits programs, and resources for people who are struggling financially. I want to help you get every dollar you're entitled to. Leave me a comment and let me know what's your biggest challenge right now. What do you want me to cover next? I read every single comment, and your questions help me make better content for you. Remember, you've worked hard your whole life. You deserve to retire with dignity. And even though times are tough, you're tougher. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're the first to know when I release new content. Thank you for watching.